Hello, welcome back to the Irish Independent. Seán O'Connor with you tonight. I'm joined by Dan McDonnell, who was at Tallaght Stadium for a fairly comfortable win for Shamrock Rovers, 4-0 over Sligo Rovers in the end, and they're back on track in the Premier Division.
Yeah, they are, yes. It's a mad one, because they're mentioned in the report as the first Friday night league game here since May.
Crazy.
Because of European matches. There was Euros. It was a game against Dundalk on a Thursday on account of the Euros, clash with the Euros. So it's strange, a lot of Sunday evening games here and drop points now. In fairness, they were in trouble in the league before that. I mean, that last Friday night was against Shells when Shells won here. But yeah, sort of business as usual. Some gripes for Sligo Rovers, to be fair. There was a penalty shout at 1-0. Unhappiness that Seán Horse sort of had an altercation with Wilson Waweru afterwards, and Shamrock Rovers go down and score like a 2-0 afterwards. But I think overall, like, there was a general sense of comfort, little bits of stuff with the referee that the visitors would be unhappy with. But then Jack Henry Francis got sent off for a sloppy yellow card for a tackle on Gary O'Neill, and that just reflected how they were just a little bit sharper. I mean, Johnny Kenny scored the first goal, could have scored a second before the controversy, and Seán Horse scored two more. Sort of mentioned my match report, business as usual, but it's not too many nights that have been like that for them this season. But this is probably closer to the type of win they've had here in previous seasons.
Shamrock Rovers now 5th on 42 points. If they win their game in hand, they go just 4 points off Derry City. So they'll be wanting to secure that European place in the next few weeks. Dan, towards the bottom.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think, to be fair, like, the big point is that they're still 11 behind Shells. But the European place, like, race for second really isn't that relevant to them. It's the race for third will wrap up Europe for them, and they're a point behind Sligo Rovers and Waterford with 2 games in hand. It's sort of mad to think that you're watching this game tonight and Sligo Rovers are a point ahead of them, but they'll be fine.
You mentioned third there. Waterford currently occupying third. Their European push continues. It was a night to remember for Waterford and another night to forget to Dundalk on a pretty difficult week for the Louth club.
Yeah, a lot going on. I must admit, it was so straightforward here. I was able to sort of watch maybe some of the last 10 minutes of that match in the background, sort of on a second screen. And John Mountney missed a very big chance at 2-1. There's a corner into the box in the last 5 minutes, and from close range probably should have scored. But the Dundalk conceded 2 early goals, playing catch up, locking on off the pitch. I think it's going to be hard for people to slaughter the players when they're obviously coping with a fair degree of stress. They did eventually get paid, some money advance that was due to them, but they're still obviously dealing with sort of stress that has probably exacerbated their situation. Some things that are there day to day aren't there anymore, have been there, aren't there anymore. Food, stuff like that. So it's a hard road back for them. I mean, they actually were hammered there earlier in the season. They've probably given it a better go tonight in the second half, but ultimately they are where they are. There's bigger concerns, obviously, than the situation. There's possibly some people who just feel they're going down anyway now, potentially, given how things go. But as you said, we talk about Dundalk, Waterford again, like they often overlooked. I mean, I do feel that it's a race for fourth. I think there's no way Shamrock Rovers finish outside the top 3, in my view. And Pats are obviously gathering steam. So I think for Sligo Rovers, for Galway, for Waterford, probably all the surprise packages, when they play teams below them, down the bottom of the table, they sort of have to make the most of them. And Porrigammon 12 goals now for the season, and Johnny Kenny level with them.
Yeah, for sure. At the bottom of the table, Dundalk remain bottom, 24 points, point behind Drogheda with a game more played. And Dan, was a massive night for Drogheda. Big win in the FAI Cup quarter-final, and they booked their first semi-final place since 2013.
Yeah, look, at 3 cup quarterfinals tonight, I think you can deal with them all at once. As emphatic as they can be. Drogheda, I mean, Athlone have actually been struggling a little bit in the last couple of weeks after looking like they were going to be the second best time in the first division. They were hammered at home by Finn Harps. I think it was 4-1 last week, so it's the same scoreline tonight. I think the big thing about Drogheda is that Douglas James Taylor is absolutely essential to whatever they do for the rest of the season, and could be the difference in terms of staying up. Wexford Treaty, that was over early. Again, Treaty have taken a couple of beatings in recent weeks, so maybe it's following league form. Interesting to see what Wexford can bring to the semi-finals, even in terms of support and stuff like that. They do have some good players being around the block, and the the Bows game, the big game, FEI probably happy enough with that result. Ross Tierney scoring the goals when it really mattered. And yeah, Bows move forward, and will Bows end up playing the winner of Derry and Shelbourne in the semi-finals? If the cup draws go the way they've been going this season, that will happen. Wouldn't be the best result for the FAI if that was to happen, but I guess for Bows, I mean, they've turned the corner big time in the last couple of weeks. Contrast that result tonight to falling over the line in Kerry, who are miles behind UCD in the league. So they'll be hoping that reflects the progress they've made in the intervening period.
Dan, just briefly, you're Derry bound tomorrow evening. We have a piece with Shelbourne striker Aidan O'Brien on Saturday's Irish Independent, but that's the TV game and the last quarter-final of the weekend.
Yeah, you've told me it's a good piece, so I'm looking forward to reading it. Obviously, I hope it's good. But yeah, I think he's a good talker. He's a good character. And yeah, I mean, Shell's Derry, all the games this season have been draws. They haven't been classics.
Last 6, I think, yeah.
Yeah, so will it be extra time? I mean, the percentage call is that 5:45 kickoff. But yeah, I suppose the draws this season at times have suited various teams. Obviously, it's a slightly different dynamic tomorrow, where someone has to win and someone has to lose, and one team will have a double dream alive after tomorrow night, I should say.
Great stuff, Dan. Thanks for that. You can keep up to date with all the latest League of Ireland and soccer news and analysis with Irish Independent.